Uh, Today I am going to begin my Doctor Who explanation. I guess we can call it. Um, as for the basics, Doctor Who started on November 23rd, 1963. It was originally supposed to be an educational show with the going to the past being for history lessons, and then going into the future or going to other planets, have that be for science and whatnot. But then they decided, let's just have this be sci-fi and see where it goes. 50 years later, it is an incredible show. Incredible show, huge fan base. In my opinion, this is just opinion, not fact. I kind of see Doctor Who as what, like, Doctor Who and the fandom, kinda like if you were to take the Star Wars movies, like what Star Wars fandom has with the movies and the books and whatnot, Doctor Who does with TV. Huge sci-fi fan base from the 60s. Sci-fi fantasy. Going back to the fact stuff, the Doctor, who is the main character, he travels through time and space in his TARDIS, which stands for Time and Relative Dimension in Space. Due to a malfunctioning chameleon circuit in the machine, it can only be, like, it stays looking to the bystanders and whatnot, like people who just walk by. It looks like a 1950s police box, or if you don't know what that is, it's basically a phone booth kind of thing. Now, way back when, I believe it was during the Sixth Doctor, don't quote me on this, but I believe it was around that era, 6th or 7th, they had it fixed, but it was still a bit wonky, a bit weird. You would see it as like a piano, someone's wardrobe, all these odd things. And so they decided to kind of break it back to where it stays the police box. Now, as the Doctor travels around, more often than not, he travels with at least one companion, generally a female, although there have been plenty male companions to him. I'm not as familiar with the original Doctor Who. What happened was, so 1963 to, I want to say, the late 80s or so, mid to late 80s, they were going fine, but the fan base at the time was dwindling, so they stopped production. In 1995, remember working correctly also, hopefully, they decided to put out a Doctor Who movie. At the time, they were only up to the 7th Doctor. So during the movie, they had him regenerate into the 8th Doctor. The movie was a flop. Just not much success, America or England. So it was on a hiatus for quite a bit of time. 2005, they decided to bring it back. with Christopher Eccleston being the Doctor and Billie Piper being his main companion. And so then, from 2005 on, we've been having Doctor Who has been back. And when it came back with a boom. I started watching around the time that it started back. I believe I actually was keeping up with the show since the 2005 restart. And I am not seeing myself quit anytime soon. Now, one thing that I mentioned was like the seventh Doctor regenerating into the eighth. For those of you who don't understand, the Doctor goes through if he's hurt badly enough, he can use what is called regeneration energy to heal himself. But he changes his appearance and quite often also his personality, but he still has the memories, the knowledge, etc., etc. Almost every single person, at least that I've met, who has heard about regeneration, they think, oh, reincarnation. No. Reincarnation is the change of includes the change of substance. Like, for instance, if you can regenerate from human into a cow or something, but regeneration, you keep the form, the physical form, like your body, you just look different. And the personality changes, but you're still that form. Now, the Doctor has 13, or the Doctor is a Time Lord, which is he's from the planet Gallifrey, and not all of the Gallifreyans are Time Lords, but he is one of the main ones. He's actually a rebel Time Lord, which I'll talk about in a later video. And so he is able to regenerate safely. He's able to regenerate safely 12 times. But now, from what I've been told, I will come back to this if need be once I find the Classic Who. It's on Netflix, by the way, if you're wondering. Classic Who, which is 1960s up until the 80s. They probably have the movie as well, but I don't know if it would be under that category or if it would be just under itself as the movie. And so anyway, so he has 12 times to safely regenerate, but from what I've been told, there was a time where he said that he could regenerate hundreds of times, but it's 12 safely. Another thing about regeneration is, okay, when the Doctor's dying, like if he's shot or something or gets a heart attack, he will feel the pain of dying, but the regeneration energy will then come to save him. Although the one key part about this, or one of the key parts, if, like, let's say I was a Time Lord, a Gallifreyan, and I was experiencing a deadly situation. I'm shot in both the hearts, because the Time Lords, and I believe the Gallifreyans in general, have 2 hearts. If I were to be shot in both of them or something, then I could regenerate. But if someone were to shoot me again while regenerating, the regeneration process would stop and I would be dead. There would be no chance for me to come back. Absolutely none. And so, now, a bit of a spoiler, that is a principle that, or this whole regeneration thing is quite prominent throughout the ending episodes of various Doctors, because they're like, okay, I need to stay safe. I need to be in control. Now, another thing that I will get into in a later video are the various enemies. I will go ahead and name a few ones that, if you're on the internet rather often and you see Doctor Who stuff, these are the ones that you will most likely encounter. Daleks, Cybermen, the Master. Those are the three main antagonists, as I call them, from the classic era. Another two that you will probably find around, which are from the New Who, are the Weeping Angels and the Silence. And you don't find this often, but it's personally my favorite antagonist. I'm not one to do much like in-depth analysis and whatnot, but I still enjoy them. The Vashta Nerada. Those and possibly a few more I will go into more detail in various later videos. But yeah, so if you have any more questions, leave them in the comments. If I don't get to them in the future videos, because I plan on doing just like a few episodes at a time. But if you bring up something and I realize that I didn't talk about it maybe as in depth as I should, then I will make note of it and I will make another video for that, or include it in a future video. But yeah, so if you have any questions on Doctor Who, just come blast me with them. I love discussing the show. But yeah, so this has been TARDIS 915, and I will see you next time.